Vampire Survivors has an awful lot to answer for because it's birthed its own little mini subgenre of budget bullet hell auto-firing roguelikes. And the idea is that you wander around a very open chasm or sometimes a very small closed arena, bullet helling your way around, a bit like a twin stick shooter, but a lot of the weapons that you're able to upgrade and add onto your arsenal, A, are chosen at random, but B, auto fire, so it's just about trying to dodge the wave of enemies coming towards you. It's this weird juxtaposition between overwhelming numbers and the satisfaction of killing everything versus that almost hands-off approach of the game doing most of the heavy artillery work for you. Survive Now is the latest copycat into the genre. It undercuts Vampire Survivors on price at £1.69 and has gone into early access. Its main differentiator for me are two things. One is the big, bold, colourful, cartoonish graphics and the fact that it's weird and wonderful aliens running around everywhere. The second thing is much more around like the quirkiness of the weapons and the fact that weapons fall into slightly different classes. You've got things that you can shoot and aim around, and currently, because it lacks controller support, you have to do that with the keyboard, which is less than ideal sometimes. But then you also get two different like turrets that can follow you around on your shoulders, and they could be lasers or fire beams or like little miniguns. It just depends on which random weapon pops up that you choose. You've then also got kind of things that will circulate around you, almost like a shield in a way that can help you to kind of cut away enemies if they get too close. And then you've got other things that are much more around the totality of the screen and the area around you. And some of them will actually kill things off screen for you too, such as lightning strikes. There's like this weird evil wisp spirit fly thing that flies around and kills things as well. And a giant football. The weapons are a mix and match of like actual real weapons and stupid kooky things, but they all have the same kind of impact and damage, and it's up to you to get your loadout. You can have up to, I believe, 7 weapons at one time, but they're all upgradable through 5 stages as well. Your character's also upgradable in terms of defense skills for the HP and the regeneration of it, and also like a special dash move that you can get as well. These things work on a timer, as does like a special move, which I didn't find massively helpful until late game, but it kind of clears out a variety of enemies around you. But the main thing that you're trying to deal with is to upgrade your character so that it's fast enough to outrun the enemies coming towards you, because you're having to constantly run away from them and try and go round in circles so that they don't cut corners and catch you. The game itself I did find enjoyable for a couple of hours, and then I started to run into Vampire Survivors fatigue syndrome, and I get this with all of the games and the copycat claims that I've had so far. And the main reason that I've had this with Survive Now is that beyond its initial blueprint, yes, it offers out some more enemies that run slightly quicker and take off more HP, but just throwing in more of the same that run faster than you feels slightly like lazy gameplay balancing. And the issue behind this is that because the upgrades are randomly generated, yes, you can certainly eventually get to some of the movement ones to make you go faster, but sometimes it's just out of your hands. I also did run into a few issues that delayed my review, particularly around it spawning enemies that replenish their health faster than you can actually get away with chipping it away again. So it does seem to lock you into certain upgrade paths to make sure that you can stay ahead of the enemies, rather than really having a free rein to build out your character as it is. Now, this game is in early access, and I have seen some upgrades that have come through that have started to correct some of this balancing issue, which is great. The main thing for me is getting the game to have controller support. It's partial at the moment, where you can kind of move around but not actually aim, because it can only cope with one analog stick, bizarrely. So hopefully that will get fixed in the future. The developer certainly says that it's going to. And it does need to add in more weapons, variety of layouts of the levels as well. They're just a giant green background at the moment, just so that it breaks up some of the gameplay monotony for me. But it does kind of make me go, if you've already got the blueprint of the genre and you love that and you've exhausted yourself on that, you have to do something different with a gameplay mechanic to stand out from the crowd. And Survive Now is so close to Vampire Survivors, except for the graphical style, that it does make me wonder, if you've got one, why would you ever get this? And I'm not sure that I could recommend it really on that basis alone as it stands now. If it can offer something to differentiate itself, then maybe the conversation changes. But at the moment, this is a lovely clone, but it's a clone and not quite as well balanced and as Moorish and as expansive as Vampire Survivors is now. A written review will be over on highplanegames.com. Survive Now is out on Steam. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a completely independent media outlet supported by people like you. The goal is to create the best possible content that cultivates a richer indie scene for games as well as music and entertainment. To find out more and to get involved, visit patreon.com/higherplane-network. Your support makes all the difference, and in return you'll gain access to bonus content and downloads. Thank you for watching.